Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
All up in here, this area right around this little cove right back in here. You can find your grass, find your shell, find your bait working in here. Get out your mullet run from marker 54 or the jerk shrimp from marker 54 and throw it. All in here against this shell line up here against the channel that pups. This is the old intercoastal that comes through here, by the way. And you can take this. If you don't find your fish up in this little cove, get here on that third chain of islands and start working all these little spoil islands. What's left of them anyway. Start working in and around those with that jerk shrimp. Work that with that mullet run from marker 54. Those two baits right there have been money up in this area here. Trout, redfish, black drum. It hasn't really mattered. All this area here is covered up with some good fish that are in here. I say covered up. They're scattered that are in here, but if you continue to work it really well, especially with those two baits, you can throw the burner shad in there well from down south. It's been really good, and the chicken of the sea, the supernatural has been really good as well. But those four baits gives you a really nice baseline that you can start with. If you got 2, 3, 4 guys that are out here wanting to fish this, get out here and weigh that and put somebody on something different on each one of them and just start working. And when somebody starts producing one more than the other, you can switch over to it. But there are scattered fish, trout, reds, black drum, all up in this area here. Again, around these little spoil islands, just take your time with them, work them. There's been plenty of bait that's in here. We still got some pretty decent little tides early in the morning when this big moon is starting to drop down now. When it starts going out, that water really starts sucking out of here. So pay attention to what you're doing, what type of boat you got, because if you get caught in here with too big a boat, when it's shallower, you're going to be able to have a little trouble getting out of there. With the higher tides, it won't be much of a problem. But that said, just make sure that you pay attention to it. Make sure you pay attention to when those majors and minors are taking place. The early morning bite right now hasn't been spectacular, at least not for me anyway, from the artificial standpoint. But when that moon is starting to set, midday, later to the afternoon like this, it's been really good. It's that bite is turned on. But again, remember, you have to be in the fish when that access takes place. So continue just to work all these areas around here. Pay attention to what your bait's doing. Pay attention to what your tide's doing. Work and throw those baits. Be patient with them. They'll produce for you. Get down here on Panther Point, Panther Lake, Swan Lake, all this area back down in here. The point, the little lake that's back in here, the little small lake back in here. Tremendous amount of bait working in here. Bait has not been an issue for these areas at all. All this shoreline down here, you got some great areas that you can work. There's been also get down into Cedar, and if you want to get over into Twin, that's fine. There's been some fish that's over in Twin, but most of your fish have been concentrated up in the Panther Lake area, Swan Lake area, Panther Point, the little cove area there, back down in that corner, then up here into Cedar Lake. Get down into these areas, especially earlier in the morning when that tide's up. You can work all this area really good, and just pay attention to those tides as well. See when your moon set's going to happen. See when your moon rise is going to happen. See when your moon over is going to happen. And incorporate those into your fishing days. See what's going on when you're able to get on the water. If you can find one of those time frames, you can really set yourself up to catch some good fish, providing that you're in fish. Again, the indicators that you got to find, man, you got to find the bait that's got to be working in that area. If you don't have any bait working in this area at all, move on. Keep on down the road there, because there'll be somewhere that you can find bait and locate it, and that's the areas that you want to be concentrated into, and that's the areas that you want to look for your game fish. But that said, topwater bait has been good back here. I like to use it for kind of like a searcher bait, working the edges, working the grass, working over the top of those potholes, pulling that thing through there. If I've got 1 or 2 other guys with me that's got some plastics, I'll throw that topwater bait across those things and see if we can't get some blow-ups or maybe a few takes here or there. And if they want to continue to swirl on it and slap it and not take, then I have those guys throw that plastic in there right behind it. And typically, when that happens, that bait falls right in front of those faces, and we get hookups pretty consistently on that. But that said, that's just one of the little techniques that you can use, one of the little tips that you can use, if you will, in these areas here, especially when it gets skinny like that, when that water kind of starts to drop out on you. You really can pay attention to the structure that's in there, find that bait working in there, look for your redfish all up in this area here with the burner shad's been good, the mullet run's been good, the jerk shrimp have been good, the down south supermodel, it's been okay. but those other baits have been producing the best. The regular model has been pretty good as well for down south, and both the watermelon red and white ice has been really good. So concentrate on those baits, work those baits in these areas, and you'll locate your fish. Up here, just right down from Paul's Mott area, you can call this Paul's Mott Extended if you want to. This whole shoreline here, nice shell in here, nice grass beds that are in here. There's a lot of undulation in and out of this floor that's up and down into this area. You got guts, you got cuts, you got some deeper little back lakes that you have access to that are up here off this shoreline. All the way down through here, work this edge. There are some redfish that are cruising up and down this shoreline here. Take that mullet run in the green specifically. The Texas roach is pretty good too, but green specifically because it's really matching what these mullet looking like right now. It's got a lot of action on the tail on that thing. It's been really productive up in this area here with that mullet run. The jerk shrimp, we got a lot of shrimp that's in our system. They're starting to feed on that. You can get that and thing and work underneath the popping cork. If you don't want to try to free line it, just take it and work it and bounce it off these potholes, in and out of these potholes, around them. It's very effective. It's been very effective up here in this area right now. The burner shad have been good in both the chicken of the sea, supernatural, platinum black have been good, have been in this area here. All this up down this shoreline here. Throw your down south here and throw you that mullet run, throw that shrimp. Just be patient with it. Work the edges of it. Find where that bait is. There's a couple little back lakes that you can wade all this area back in. It's a little soft, but that's okay. You can deal with it. But it'll put you on some nice fish that are cruising in and out of this area here. There's been some good redfish that are being caught out of here. There's been some nice box trout that's been caught out of this area as well. Just be patient with it. Work it, work it, work it. The majors and minors are a big deal. The tidal flow, because we got a lot of tidal flow that's happening right now with this backside of this big moon that's in place. It's really sucking a lot of water in and pushing a lot of water back. So pay attention to those things. They're little indicators for you that will help you have success throughout your catching day.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.